I guess you gotta say that the disguise thing works because I saw them in the opening before the disguise episodes happened and thought they were different versions. Or, in fact, I thought Maomao was a different character, and Jinshi was a younger version of himself. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of the Apothecary Diaries. We are on episode 17, which means that I come with notes and a board regarding episode 16. So, the board also includes a board changelog, which in this case is just that I added the metal worker's kids and his wife, which is just this stuff down here. And for the first time, I've added like a semi connection to Locken, in which that Locken is the one who brings this up to Jinshi, right? And I guess that's the thing I should have actually done, is I have not attached a connection between Locken to Jinshi, even though we have seen them talking to one another in Jinshi's office before. So that's something I still need to do. But he's the one that brings up this metal worker that I once knew. So clearly there is some connection between him and them. It just has not been brought up yet. Or will never again, as far as I know. I don't see why the metal workers would come into play later, except for maybe something that I will say in the notes later. Otherwise, though, that's really the only difference. Not the only difference, the only change that's been made since last episode. Of course, though, I have notes. I have to wonder, and this may just be an aspect of time, given that I watch these a week apart, and sometimes my own notes just don't denote certain feelings from one episode to the other. Why Jinshi is even entertaining Locken's desire to test Maomao against everything he's said so far. Is Jinshi just that interested in hearing the rest of the story? Or is Locken in such a position that Jinshi feels like he has to placate the man? I mean, knowing what we are about, knowing what we know about Jinshi at the moment, I'd have to assume the former, but I can't shake the idea that Locken is actually a threat, especially considering how instantly he flipped from my concept of him from the opening breakdown to what it seems he truly is. Sometimes it's easy to forget that this is a world where the slightest error can have you punished, and punishment sometimes means death. So, for all the times Maomao goes into her mind palace, ignoring the orders of people she's with, I get this feeling like it is slow cooking us to get used to it and forget how much any social faux pas is actually a threat to her life. That eventually this is going to come back to bite her in the ass. I obviously won't have much to say about the puzzle of the episode, as I feel I pretty much nailed it in the reaction to that episode. If you grew up with PC puzzle games in the late 90s, you figured this out the moment you had a list of items and saw the room. I feel less bad about not being able to tell Gao Shun and Ba Sen apart after Maomao herself points out that they look the same. Though I have to wonder if that means Gao Shun is also of the Ma clan, maybe explaining why he was grinning about the compliments Jinshi was giving Ba Sen. Alright, and my final note here. I don't know what these ritual utensils are, but I can't help but to think back to the opening breakdown that I did, where Jinshi, despite what he says here, very much seems to be in the middle of a ritual of some sort. Putting together the scenes from the opening, maybe Maomao fakes her death and Jinshi is doing a ritual for her, would explain his going back on that statement. And who else but Maomao would know how to appear dead and to not be? So when he looks back and spots her in the opening, that could be her waking back up and approaching him as some sort of shock or surprise. Again, just throwing shit at the wall and finding out later if it stuck or not. I'm sorry, I just in the middle of that, I was thinking to myself, where does that saying come from? Who throws shit at walls, right? In reality, I think back to, oh god, what was his name? Gallagher. Gallagher used to have a joke about throwing fudge at walls, because the joke was the best fudge sticks to walls, bad fudge doesn't, but more expensive fudge doesn't stick to walls. I don't know. Obviously, that makes no sense out of context, but it's where my thought goes when I think about throwing shit at walls. Anyway, that were my thoughts. That was the board. I say let's go ahead and hop on in and see what this episode brings us.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Of course, in the next time on last time, sorry, I'm going into that Griffin thing where I have a sound bite on the Discord. It's very specifically Griff going, last time on, no, so next time on, last time to this time, something like that. That's what I found myself doing there for a second. Anyway, one, that was the opening bit where he's doing the makeup, or where they're doing the makeup on him, where I pointed out in my opening breakdown, and the alleyway scene there, which is, I think, going to come up this episode. There are elements of the opening breakdown that I did that turned out to be right. Everything regarding lock-on appears to have turned out to be wrong. But, yeah, where I thought the alleyway scene in the opening was going to be a flashback to Jinshi's past, he is evidently going to be an element of just now. I thought that it looked like too young of a Jinshi, but I guess that's the element of we're going to be messing with makeup here in this episode. So I guess we're just going to be, like, I don't know what the point is of going out into the area with Maomao, other than, Jinshi likes spending time with her. I have to assume that there's something else at play. Like, maybe they're investigating something, maybe, I don't know. I'll have to find out.
ならば、俺に化粧をしてくれないか?
はい?
So we're about to see the table with all the powders and whatnot on it.
歴史にはくだらない戦がたくさんあるが、その中のいくつかは渓谷の美女によって引き起こされている。天井人のごとき美しさの御人が化粧なんてしたら。
I mean, I assume he's kind of been wearing makeup this whole time, right?
まったく何を想像しているんだか。お前のおしろいはどうやって作っている?
おお、美しくするのではなくくすませる方か。
Oh, right.
粘土を乾かして粉にしたものを油で溶いています。
それはすぐできるか?
はい。
This entire time I've actually thought that it was just actual clay.
jinshi様には少し濃すぎますね。
顔を変えられる薬があれば便利なのだが。
I mean, that would explain why he needs makeup to go out into public, though. Instantly recognizable.
だろうな。
平民を装いたいということでしたら、できないこともありませんけど。
では、それを頼む。俺を今と全く違う姿の人間にしてくれ。
Again, I'm just waiting for that scene that will look exactly like the one that's from the opening. Him sitting in a chair. The whole... There we go. That's exactly it. A table of stuff sitting next to him as everybody gawks. As Maomao has a thing in her hand, putting stuff on his face.
どうした? 朝から不機嫌だな。
いえ、jinshi様は今日も一日美しいのでしょう。
新手の嫌味か。
jinshi様は本当に別人になりたいとお思いですか?
昨晩からそう言っているだろう。
なら失礼します。
I mean, again, I thought it was a younger him in the alley.
なんだいきなり。
こんな上等な高オタク庶民はいません。今の神使様の服はせいぜい下級管理の普段着。海の向こうから取り寄せた最高級の香木とは縁がないはずです。
よくわかるな。
薬草と毒草を見分けるため、
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is elements you don't think about. Changing your appearance doesn't change your beauty routine from the rest of your life.
それもありますが、もう一つ、匂いです。悪趣味な香をいくつも漂わせている客は、金はあるが性病の可能性が高い。家畜臭い匂いがすれば、風呂に入らず不衛生。6召喚に来る一元の客はほとんど追い返されます。
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine smelling so good that people think you have an STD.
ガオシュン様、替えの衣の準備をお願いできますか？できれば、匂いの残っている洗う前のものが好ましいです。
わかりました。
おい。
では、その間に。
We've got to wash the incense off of him.
油と塩です。これで髪の光沢をなくして、質感を悪くしていきます。失礼いたします。
Now, do you think that's going to do lasting damage to his hair, though? I guess technically lasting damage to your hair, at least like a couple months at worst.
平民はまとめられれば何でもいいんです。
これで本当によろしいのですか？
もっと臭くてもいいくらいですね。神使様、服を脱いでください。
お
天女のようなお方ではあるが、金星の取れた金。
Again, we saw him training against Boss N earlier in the season.
あちらの手拭いを使っても
構わないけど、何をするの？
体型を変えていきます。すみません。お二人も手伝っていただけますか？ガオシュン様はそちらを。
はい。
I'm actually surprised about how much of the show so far has been in that one opening.
不格好な体型に神使様の顔がついているのはなんとも奇妙だな。次は顔です。色の濃いお白
That's the table scene from the opening.
これで平民のような日焼けした肌を作っていきます。目をつむってください。近くで触っても無駄に綺麗だ。ヒゲどころか。
It really feels like Maomao would be like the perfect assassin.
あった。メイメイ姉ちゃんに押し付けられたやつ。
なあ、まだか？
口も閉じてもらえますか？
Like she's good at like
力は入れずに。
disguising people. She's good at disguise and poisoning.
この3人だけでよかった。もし誰か別の者がいたら大惨事だった。
おい、どうしたんだ？
いえ、何でもありません。
痛いぞ、何があったんだ？
何もありません。
何もないですよ。
はい、何もありませんわ。
気を取り直して、おしろいで顔にまだらをつけ。
So the opening bit was literally for that one joke.
ほくろをつけたし、眉は左右の大きさを変えながら描いていく。余ったおしろいは体の各所に塗ってシミを作り、爪の間にも詰めて不衛生な手を作ります。
Pushing shit under the fingernails is not.
さすがに白魚の手とは。
Well, I get what you're saying. Make it look like his hands were used and dirty, but
普段筆か箸くらいしか持たないと思っていたが、剣術か棒術をやっているのだろうか。
as per the ending credits, actually, yes.
必要ないはずだが。ま、そんなくだらない質問をする必要はない。
おお、汚く見える。
どうぞ。
飲み物か
Why do you carry that around, though?
唇を
I guess you were planning for today, never mind.
唇と喉が腫れて声が変わりますから。
何が入っているの？
数種の刺激物です。とても辛いですが、毒ではありませんのでご安心を。全部飲んでください。最後の仕上げです。綿です。輪郭を変えるために頬に含ませてください。
I mean, I would say it'd be difficult to talk that way, but we're trying to change his voice already too, so yeah.
本当に坊ちゃん。
坊ちゃんはやめてくれ。
それでも2枚目半くらいに見えるのだから、元の良さは困ったものだ。
I'm glad we.
自分にできることは全てやった。
I'm glad you can overlook that he's got like a gut and still call him beautiful.
久しぶりの里帰りだ。
シャオマオ。
Some people will be a lot more shallow than that, is what I'm trying to say.
はい、明日まで暇をもらったので。高春様にしては珍しい表情だ。
それならジンシ様も途中まで同じ道筋ですよね。
え？
別人に変装したところでいつもと同じ従者を連れていてはおかしく思われるでしょう。
Where the hell is he going?
ジンシ様もそう思いませんか？
そうだな。お前が来れば助かるんだが。
いかん、ジンシ様も乗り気だ。
I would think he would either be going to Lumen, but that would be directly the way she's going, not on the way. I doubt he's going to the Verdigris house.
私も部屋好きの下女として知られていますし。
そのようなことは。
ならシャオマオも変装すればいいんじゃない？
え？
それはいいですね。
お化粧用のハケやかんざし。
I guess maybe if Lakan does know something about Maomao's family, he could be on the way to that.
嫌な予感しかしない。ジンシ様、姿勢が美しすぎます。
お前こそその口をやめろ。それに名前を言ったら変装の意味がないだろう。
では何と呼べばよろしいのですか？
そうだな。私のことはジンカとでもお呼びください。お嬢様。
I mean, you gotta be.
格好からすれば妥当だと思いますがね。
You gotta still be somebody, because you're like riding a carriage out of the inner palace. Or the outer palace.
古臭くもない。格好だけならいいところのお嬢様と言ってもおかしくないだろう。何がそんなに楽しいんだ。
I guess you gotta say that the disguise thing works, because I saw them in the opening before the disguise episodes happened, and thought they were different versions. Or, in fact, I thought Maomao was a different character, and Jinshi was a younger version of himself.
はい、お嬢様。
姿勢が良すぎる。
ほっ。
ジンかね。それほど木をてらった偽名じゃないが、わざわざ花という字を入れているのが何とも言えない。人種という名もそうだが、男の名にはあまり使わない。
I would have no idea about any of this, really.
いや、世の平和のためにそれだけは避けた方がいい。目的地は
花町の手前にある飯屋です。そこで知り合いと待ち合わせよう。
I guess I was wrong about all of that then.
なんで私が護衛なんか。
Oh, Bossen.
しかも隠れながらって意味が。
Not too hidden.
従者が主人より前に出るとはまだまだだな。ジンか。
申し訳ありません、お嬢様。
よろしい。
It would be impossible to keep the bottom of your dress or any of your clothes clean.
小遣いももらったことだし、鳥を締めてもらって一緒に煮つけようか。
買い物ですか？その格好で。
I guess this is going to be an episode where they each learn about their different places in society.
医師としてもクス師としても右に出る者はいないくらいすごい親父だが、何を間違ったのか
Technically, you could just had him buy the
損得感情というものが
stuff.
欠落している。おかげで本来食いはぐれることがない仕事なのにあんなあばら屋に住んでいる。
I mean, yeah, blame the guy behind
あ
you.
まりに飢え死にしそうなら
Partially, I
さすが
guess.
にやり手ババア
Blame
が
him for his
一度
birth. That
流し込
feels
む
like a
くらいは
wrong
してく
thing.
れるだろうけど。何ですか？
なんで黙っている？
別に話すことがないから。何かまずいことでも言ったか？
I mean, we know you guys have fun in this. It's in the opening of the show.
焼き鳥。
Yeah, literally the things you guys eat in the alleyway.
親父、串焼き2本。
はいよ。
どうぞ。食べないうちに食べましょう。
あ、
香ばしい鶏皮、じゅわっと広がる油。宮廷では食べられないんだよな。食べないんですか？この通り、毒はありませんよ。
いや。
ああ。どうぞ。
Oh, I thought you say the makeup can't afford to mess with the makeup. Although, would this mess up the thing to change your voice? Because it was literally throat
どうで
irritant.
すか？
野営の時のよりうまいな。塩が効いている。
やえ？宦官は普通武官のような仕事はしないと思っていたが。
Maybe implying that Jinshi's not a eunuch, as I've previously discussed.
あら、ガオシュン、おかえりなさい。氷には触らないでね。柿渋を塗ったばかりだから。坊ちゃんのおもちゃよ。懐かしいでしょう。
ええ。
それでどうでした？
すこぶる上機嫌でした。
あなたにしては気の利く提案をしたこと。一度気に入ったおもちゃがあれば、坊ちゃんはそればかりで遊んでい
Is
た
this one of
の
those
ね。
we're still thinking of Maomao as a toy?
こっそり隠すと手がつけられないくらい泣いてしまって。あなたが新しいおもちゃを持ってきてはどうにかしようと苦労してた。
一つのものに執着する。
Are we
ジン
implying
シ様はそれが許される立場
that
にあり
Gao
ますか？
Shun is actually behind the kidnapping originally?
そんなに急がなくても
Because
い
we
い
know
の
the
か？
other
ど
woman
なたか
was
と
the
待ち合わせ
family
なんでし
that
ょ？
was related. Well,
早めに行った方がいいのではありませんか？
that feels like an implication.
俺とさっさと別れたいような口ぶりだな。
そうでしょうか。確かに別れたらもう一度戻って大根と鳥を買おうと思っているが。
別に。宮廷の生活も悪くないだろう。
L- Dawson, what the fuck are you up to?
ずっといいと思うが。
確かに悪くないですね。
I mean, we already covered this.
自分の意思で出資してますし、与えられた部屋も綺麗なものです。ただ、一人残された養父がちゃんと生活できている。
Adoptive father? That's new.
どうしたんです？
いや、お前が薬や毒以外のことに気を使う。
But also, we know that you didn't want to get fired from the Inner Palace to begin with, and then essentially begged to get back in. So we know you know that it's not that bad.
お前の養父は。
漢方のみならず裁縫の医術まで心得がありますから、若い頃には裁縫に留学していたこともあったそうです。
それはよほど優秀だったんじゃないか。留学は国に選ばれなければいけないはずだぞ。
ええ、すごい人です。天は二物を
So is Jinshi gonna know about Lu
与えら
Men?
れた人間もいるんです。
それは大層な御人だな。そんな御人がなぜ花町で薬屋を？
運だけはない人だからでしょうね。いくら二物を持っていても一物を取られてしまいましたから。
それは お前の養父が宦官だということか。
I thought they just broke his
そうです。
leg. I didn't know that that was the cost.
花町式ジョークが滑ったのだろうか。親父は裁縫への留学を理由に先帝の母、すなわち先の皇太后に宦官にされてしまったらしい。
宦官、クスシ、いかん。
言ってなかったかな。
So they're bringing that up as a matter of his education and not the consequence of her baby dying.
ああ、なるほど。わざわざ変装までした理由が分かった。なら花町まで来てくれればよいもの。
どういう意味だ？
いえ、
薬屋、お前、六召喚の馴染みには詳しいのか？
まあ派手に立ち回る客であれば。
どんな奴がいる？
秘密です。守秘義務があるので。
では、妓女の価値を下げるにはどうすればいい？
Oh, we are
愉
investigating
快なことを聞きますね。
Lockon's cruelty.
いくらでもありますよ。特に上位の妓女ならば。六召喚ではカムロ時代に一通りの教育を済ませます。その中で要望の良いものとそうでないものに分けられ、後者は顔見せが終わるとすぐ客を取り身を売ることになります。一方、見込みのあるものは茶飲みから始まり教養で客を取ります。値はどんどん釣り上がり、上がったところで露出を減らすと茶飲みだけで1年の銀が尽きる売れっ子妓女が出来上がります。身請けまで
The three
客に
princesses,
一度も手をつ
basically.
けられないといったこともあります。手つかずの花だからこそ価値があるのです。倒ればそれだけで価値は半減します。
Not what Lockon did, clearly.
こうはらませれば価値などないに等しくなります。
Again, I don't think the opening implies that Lockon sexually assaulted a person. Oh, I thought we were gonna fucking learn. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell how long the episode has gone to know how close we are to the end, because I'm not checking, obviously, during the recording. I still think it's very much implied that the burnt hand, the hand that is the painted hand from before playing Go, and then moving rocks on a bed, and very clearly burnt, is the target of Lockon's conversation from before, that I reduced her value. Especially seeing that he was the one investigating the dust fire earlier in the season. That it's clearly implied to me that he caused a fire that then burnt a high-class courtesan, reducing her value by eliminating her appearance, say. Like, I don't know exactly what we're doing here, investigating the get a girl pregnant, she loses her value thing that Maomao was saying, as it doesn't seem to jive with what we've seen so far. Although, there's been times that I've thought they were trying to give us red herrings, so this could be another red herring. Oh, wait, unless... I'll wait till after the next time on.
次回ラカン。
Oh god, there's so much there. There's so much there too. Sorry, my thought before the next time on started happening, connecting the pieces together. What if Lockon did sexually assault somebody, did get them pregnant, and Maomao is that child, right? That Lockon's interest not only comes from the fact of this other person that I loved, I guess I don't know what I'll say with Lockon. This other person that I did this to, and this turns out to be the progeny of myself and that person. Because the thing that's making me think that as a connective tissue is the thing that we've never brought up before, because Lumen has always been her dad, as far as we can tell. And then she just said, this episode, my adoptive father, implying, well, that also has nothing really to do if Lock-On did the thing that we're now suggesting that he did, but at the same time implies that she comes from somewhere else. I'm sorry, it's just the fact that you bring it up as a way to reduce the value of a courtesan, and then also brought up the adopted thing in the same episode. And then there's that room that we mentioned not too long ago where I suggested that maybe a family member resided in, or remains of said family member may reside in, that I just don't know these. It's the thing that happens to me. These connective tissues are just there, nebulous, and I'm trying to apply them to one another like this is a 1990s hidden picture game or something. It's like, because it doesn't jive with the he set her on fire idea that I've been working with so far. But then again, I can be very wrong sometimes. The he set her on fire thing used to be my theory from the opening, that he loved her despite the fact that she was in a fire. And then it turns out he's an evil asshole, possibly, who may have set her on fire, is then the change up. And now the possibility that he SA'd her and Maomao could possibly be the kid. For me, it's like the Madoka Magica thing, where I keep theorizing that in Madoka Magica there's a time loop at play, and the show really hasn't pushed that anywhere. But for me, it's been a theory every episode. The theory about Lock-On, this mysterious courtesan, and now the connection to Maomao is now just a thing that I have to take as actually being a thing until proven otherwise, because the show is making me think it's a thing. And now, again, the element that we're seeing, that other court lady who was not as up in arms about Maomao's presence as the rest, we see her with a scythe-type weapon. Now, granted, my whole theory was that she was the character in the alleyway with Jinshi in the opening, which now turns out to be that was just Maomao and Jinshi wearing disguises. So I don't know what to think about her relationship with Jinshi anymore, other than the fact that she now is wielding a weapon in next episode. And I don't know what the target would be. I thought the idea was that when she walked past a Maomao the last time, and she mentioned a very specific scent, I thought the idea there would be that that scent comes from Lock-On. So maybe the idea is she's going to try and kill Lock-On. It's either that or she's going to try and kill for Lock-On. I don't know. There's a lot here. So obviously next time when I come back, I'm going to come back with a hell of a lot of notes. Essentially all based around 2 minutes of the episode's actual conversation. Also, the Gaoshan, did he orchestrate everything, right? Is all of the first core of Apothecary Diaries Season 1 as a result of Gaoshan manipulating events. Certainly, I'm thinking back to all the times he talked about toys and Jinshi having a fit about them being gone, and then considering Maomao to be more than a toy, is now taking on a whole new appearance at the very least. Alright, well, that said, we still have Maomao's notes to go through, so let's go ahead and pop on into that and see what Maomao has to say about this episode.
Maomao no Hitorigoto.
Delusion.
ああ、今日はいつもより余計に疲れたな。人種様を平民に変装させたり、国家存亡の危機を食い止めたり、なぜか私まで。
はい、お嬢様。
あれはすこぶる居心地が悪かった。あ、そういえば、どうして妓女の価値を下げる方法なんて。
Again, I still think these are canon.
さては、見受けしたい妓女でもいるのか。
I think Maomao only talks about stuff that she would actually know to talk about.
いや待てよ。人種様は帝のお手つきのはずじゃ。
That's something she hasn't considered
私
for a
には
long
関係
time,
のないことだ。
although untrue.
しかし親父のやつ、吹きの塔を探すってどこまで行ったんだ？迎えに行くか。次回、羅漢。はぁ。
Oh, okay. No theorizing about the events next time from Maomao. I'll also point out this thing is the first time one of those Maomao's notes sections hasn't actually talked about a thing. Like, I would have assumed, like every other episode, if there was a poison, if there was a face powder, lead, if there was anything, Maomao would talk about it. And a very specific, this is a real world thing about this item. Nothing. Like, I would even, makeup. We talked about makeup. So, first time, I guess implying that not all of these will actually have connective tissues. I don't even know what I'm going to say here. Well, I guess that is everything, though. So, once again, I've been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?